So I made this out of a piece of flat bar, about 3/4 inch wide by 3/16 thick. The bar wasn't quite wide enough to simply do stock removal, so I needed to flatten it out a little bit. And I'm not sure what I was thinking here forming the tip, because I ended up just cutting out the pattern anyway. I probably really didn't need to forge that tip out like I did. And once I had it forged out, I put it back in the forge to normalize it. Yeah, and you can see there where it just wasn't quite wide enough. Had to flatten it out. So once I did that, I traced a pattern out and cut that pattern out with the angle grinder. Shaping the handle there and the blade the best I could with the angle grinder. And from there, went over and to the sander, try to get the surface smoothed out, get rid of the forge marks. And once I had the rough shape and the surfaces all cleaned up, I used my pattern and hit it with some spray paint, and then took it over to the grinder just to get the final details and final shaping done. Then ahead and marked out the center line on the blade so I could grind the bevels on the blade. Once I had the bevels done, I took it over to the drill press and drilled the holes in the handle. So once I had all the machining done, I did a stress relieve in the kiln at 1200 Fahrenheit for 2 hours. My original idea for this knife was to try and get a hamon on the blade. First time I've ever tried to do that. That's refractory cement I'm using there. I quenched it in Parks 50. Some of the clay came off during the quench. You can see right there on that side, the tip, the clay came off. And I think that may have caused me some of my issues that I had with getting the hamon to come out on the blade. So after the quench, I sanded the blade up to 2000 grit. Quite a bit of sanding. Took several hours. I'm going to etch it in the ferric chloride. I did a double etch for, I don't know, it's about 2 or 3 minutes each time in the ferric. I moved on to working on the handle. That's a piece of teak. Cutting out the handle there. On the bandsaw, getting the holes put in the handle. So I used a 3/16 inch drill bit and 3/16 inch brass round bar for the pins. So after the etching, I used 1500 grit silicon carbide polish mixed with 3-in-1 oil. to try and bring the hamon out. I wasn't real happy with those results. I tried using 2000 grit sandpaper as well. It was time for the glue up with the 5-minute epoxy. Let it sit overnight. Then it was time to clean up the handle. Once I had the handle done, I put some boiled linseed oil on it. This teak was very dry. It had been sitting up in the hill country of Texas for I don't know how many years. It soaked up a lot of that oil. After I put that on there, I put some paste wax on it, let it dry, and buffed that off. And that was basically the finished product. You can almost see the hamon, not quite. I'll try again. This was W1 steel. It was quenched in Parks 50. But like I said, I think the application of the clay might have had something to do with it, and the fact that some of it flaked off during the quench, I don't think helped. So the good news is, even though the hamon didn't turn out like I wanted, the knife's pretty comfortable. Cuts through limes and tomatoes, no problem. So I think I'll be using this in the kitchen for quite some time. Well, I hope you liked the video. If so, please hit the like button and please subscribe. And thanks for watching.